That's one thing.
Well, that was during sleepy time. I woke up. I had. Did I have a bowl of cereal? I don't remember. I think I just went straight to lunch. I had a bowl of soup.
Do you have cheese brain? Just holes are forming up in your skull. All the memories are leaking out.
I had a bowl of soup, and then I started making. I feel like I lost some time in there, because the first thing I remember doing was starting to make dinner. No, I went to the store and got the tahini. And I went to Walmart and got roasted red peppers, because the roasted red peppers they had at Kroger, they were out of the cheap kind, so there's only expensive kind. And it was like $4 for 8 ounces or something like that. And I got 8 ounces for like $2. So
Okay.
But then
paying a little more.
Got the stuff, came home. I think I started prepping for dinner. And then I realized the recipe card that that I got from my mom was incorrect, and I needed more rolls, so I went out and got more rolls, and I came back, finished that up, put it in the oven, and then I started making the breakfast burritos. And then by that point, when I finished, it was 5, so I had dinner.
You just ate your burritos?
No, I had the stuff came out of the oven. It was only in the oven for 20 minutes.
Okay.
I did some dishes, and then I came down here and listened to the music. I feel like I've forgotten a couple things I've done today. It feels like all that stuff didn't take up all that much time. What have you done today, Cooper?
There's just gaps in your time.
Yeah.
Well, I woke up, and basically I just worked on my. We've got a presentation on Tuesday, so I was working with my group doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously writing for this. Studying for an exam I got this week. Nothing too crazy. Did a little bit of reading, a little bit of light. Listened to some of my vinyls.
Nice,
Nothing too crazy today. It was a pretty low key Sunday. It's super nice weather though, so I went walking around a little bit.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I had my when I left to search for the tahini, it was still a little chilly, but when I got back, it was nice and toasty.
Nice and toasty.
Outside.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I'll probably be able to start running outside again. Oh, yes.
I just went and worked out in the little weight gym, because there used to be. They took the treadmill out of there for some reason.
They want to make you walk farther to get at the treadmill.
But like,
it's a win-win situation.
Why did they move it? They didn't even move it. They just took it away. Like, the treadmills in the main building are much, much nicer.
Maybe that's why they want to have consistent treadmill experiences.
Maybe, but they haven't put a new one in, and it's been like 4 or 5 days.
Well, you should ask them. Maybe they're hot. Maybe in his office, like a standing desk, except he has to walk all the time.
That sounds terrible.
You get healthy pretty quick.
Absolutely awful.
Really good for your heart.
Is it though?
I imagine. Humans
Matt says being outside is not better than being indoors.
Wow.
I believe him.
Well, on a day like this where it's so nice and the sun's out for so long, you gotta enjoy it. Life's short, Matthew.
That'll be real nice tomorrow morning when I wake up and it's still dark when I go to work.
Oh yeah. Well, then you get to wake up with the sun.
It already
the sun's rising to greet you
into my eyes during part of my drive. I don't want it to be there. Even
oh yeah, you'd be driving east, so. Oh, that's just the sun saying hello straight into your eyeballs.
Well, there's part of the drive where I'm driving
north,
southwestish.
Oh, that's the opposite of
Or
what I
no,
said.
wait. Yeah, southwestish. So it shines directly in through my back window. It was hurt my eyes just a tad.
You always got sunglasses. Oh, hey. It's a pretty good emoji in chat.
Yeah, I see the emoji. You can't even post it, Cooper. Stop trying.
I still like it, though. The army has arrived.
Yeah.
Is this hell? Is this what hell looks like?
I imagine it does. Sorry, I'm finishing my frozen yogurt.
Very professional. Oh, I could go
the
for some
10
frozen
minutes
yogurt, though.
warm up. We 10 minutes for 10 minutes. We sit here and just slowly, acclimatize.
Slowly eat yogurt into the microphone. We could turn this into an ASMR stream. I feel like there's big money in that. Okay, maybe not.
Cream, sugar,
That's a 10.
cover all 9,000 taste buds.
I want to eat.
That's one of my. Oh, I should probably turn my notifications off. Did I tell you that's a 10 thing is part of my bit donation thing on my channel?
Is it?
Yeah.
That's
so
a 10.
If you ever want to see it, next time I'm live, donate a bit.
Nah. You don't donate any bits to me, Samuel.
You don't have a stream.
I got this stream.
I'm not donating to us.
But then we can get the bits.
That'd be
and we get
basically
100
giving
bits.
you money.
And
I could just take whatever I would have donated and have it, and then give it to you, and we won't lose money to Twitch or PayPal.
oh, that's not nearly as fun. I could go for some frozen yogurt. I don't have any sweets in my household. I don't buy them because I eat them. But then when I don't buy them, I want to eat them.
Frozen yogurt's the only thing I do because I just have these little like 8-ounce cups,
Ooh,
7-ounce cups,
little snack sizes.
Exactly. So I just put some Reese's peanut butter chips on the bottom, just a single layer, so very like 15 chips, so nothing.
Oh, just 15. You count them.
Well, it's a very tiny cup. And then I fill it with frozen yogurt, and then I put some semi-sweet chocolate chips on the top.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
That's my post-workout treat.
No Baja Blast for me, Perk. It's soda makes my tummy upset. I like a nice sparkling water.
What are you, 60?
Huh?
I said, what are you, 60?
I guess my stomach gets too acidic. I need to keep it nice and basic. Talking like a pH of like 9,
Maybe you can't drink
something
soda
healthy.
since you eat Tums like they're candy.
I don't eat them like they're candy. I just enjoy them occasionally when my stomach's upset.
Your stomach is I think you might have a imbalance in your stomach because of how many Tums you have.
No, that can't be right. They're good. They're medicine.
Cooper, it's calcium. It's not medicine. It's
and calcium's
calcium.
good for your bones.
Calcium lowers the pH of your. Wait, raises, lowers? Which way is basic? Which way is acidic?
Raises
the pH of your stomach.
Yeah, no, and that makes me stronger.
No, it makes you.
No, it won't
can't
dissolve
digest anything. You'll eat a carrot and shit out the whole thing.
Well, there we go. I don't even like carrots. My body knows me better than I do.
Who doesn't like carrots?
Huh? I just don't like eating them by themselves.
Oh shit! Jonah brings up a good point. Full Bloom might be canceled.
Oh, well, I guess we'll find out. What? Why would it be canceled? Is there some sort of thing that's happening involving viruses?
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't affect my life at all.
Hasn't it already twice?
Yeah, my spring break plans were canceled. Sad. I mean, I guess I might not get a virus, but then B, I might just get the virus anyways if it comes here. So
yeah, I think I got a bit of a head cold
Yeah. Luckily, Smash players are known for their cleanliness, so I'm sure. Why would they cancel? All those handshakes and fist bumps.
Well, there's already been confirmed cases in Indiana.
Oh, I mean, there's confirmed cases all over the country.
And if there's confirmed cases, there's even more unconfirmed cases, because that's how it works. Can't have coronavirus if you don't test for it. Taps forehead.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's works itself out. Just don't have breathing problems, I guess.
Yeah.
Or be old.
It's going to get real bad here in a bit. Because the hospitals are going to be overwhelmed. There's something like 2.8 hospital beds for every 1,000 people in the United States. And so the people that have been going to the hospital for coronavirus have been there for a couple of weeks at a time. So turnaround isn't very quick.
Maybe Matt's right about the outside being too scary.
Yeah, for real.
Ah, well. Though speaking of death, we've are covering a little bit of death jazz this week, don't you think, Sam?
Yeah, let me...
Good segue.
I'll segue. I'm going to mute myself on stream and blow my nose real quick, though, because I'm getting a little nasally.
I thought you said you were going to scarf down, like, the last half of your frozen yogurt. Okay, you did not mute yourself. I can hear all that. Okay, good. Also, I like the transition from, man, I hope none of us get corona. Anyways, loudly blows his nose.
No, I've gone from sleeping 9 hours a night to 6 hours a night, so my body is kind of catching up.
You should split the difference and get 7.5. I think that's supposed to be the desired amount.
All right, let's do a quick...
Okay. All right.
Do a quick scene transition.
Don't die. I can't do this show without you.
You can't do this show with me. This is it. This is the last one. No. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Audio Shop Podcast.
Yes,
this week,
here we are.
Discussing Planet Pimp by Soil and Pimp Sessions.
Soil and Pimp Sessions. Yeah, so we're going to the wild world of jazz.
Mm-hmm. And this is one we had talked about quite a bit over the past couple of weeks in the Spare Tire. I had discovered one of the songs and turned Cooper onto it, and then we kind of went back and forth for a bit, and then we're like, let's do this one, especially since it was Thursday and we hadn't picked an album yet.
You just started a new job, so.
Also, I think you had to hop off right after the last one, right?
Yes.
So we didn't. We usually discuss what we're going to listen to next afterwards, so that kind of screwed that all up.
This one's been the backlog. I know Sam was the one who turned me on to Soil and Pimp Sessions.
And then, of course, after I did that, Cooper listened to the entire discography, right?
Well, not all of them. I've listened through like 6 of their albums.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So
not all of them, just most.
Oh, they have quite a few albums. These guys have been pumping out a new album every year since like 2004.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to dig into that then, because I
would recommend Pimp Masters next. I think it's maybe their best one.
Well, let's not give our hand away too early
here. Oh, okay. Now, I can give a little bit of a background on Soil and Pimp Sessions.
Please do.
Yes. So they are, in fact, a sextet, a Japanese club jazz sextet. Yes, you heard that right. This is a Japanese jazz.
For some reason, all the best jazz is these days.
I don't know. Japan has a very vibrant jazz scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. I mean, I'm sure the American jazz scene is good too, but I think Japan's willing to experiment with it a little bit more. Maybe they don't have quite the same nostalgia for old jazz, so they can like kind of build on it.
Mm-hmm.
But they are a Tokyo-based music group formed in 2001, and they call their particular brand of jazz death jazz, which sometimes it's more death than not. It's basically a very energetic form of jazz with a little occasionally screaming, very occasionally. They are a sextet, like I said, comprised of their 6 members, each one playing a different instrument. You got the president, he's known as the agitator. That's what it's listed as what he plays. So I'm guessing he's vocals slash like just like controlling the whole thing. And you got Taboo Zombie, he's the trumpet player. Josie is on piano and keyboards. Akita Goldman is double bass. Madoran is the drums, and Motoharu is the saxophone. And these six instruments are the six instruments you'll be hearing throughout the entire album. They each play their part, and they play it throughout. So you'll be hearing each of these instruments very often.
And I gotta say, it sounds like a lot more than six instruments. Like it, it sounds full. And there's a couple of songs where they kind of strip it back a bit, and you realize just how empty, it actually, like how few instruments are actually playing. But when they all come together, it sounds like a full-on jazz band,
Oh yeah, they definitely make the most of their sound. Even though jazz bands can, have, double-digit people, these guys have a super full sound with just the six of them.
Mm-hmm. And I think they do layer a little bit and all that, but all that jazz.
Jazz jokes. Refined humor here on the podcast.
But yeah. Let's jump into track number 1 then.
Track number 1, INTRO.
Intro.
Wonder what that stands for. But this intro, as it were, is basically nothing like the rest of the album.
But it's like, holy crap, if there is one song that encapsulates everything I like in music, it's this one. Except for like the last 5 seconds.
Organ and rain noises.
Yeah. One of my favorite ELO songs is Rain Has Fallen. I love organ. I never shut up about organ. I could just rate the whole album on this right here. And it's only like a minute long.
And it's like 45 seconds long. It's just like a little organ riff that kind of, I wouldn't say it even matches the mood, but it kind of just is a little intro that leads into the first song. Just a little eye catcher to get you into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first proper song starts on track number 2, Hollow, which just explodes out into it. With this guy, I'm assuming the agitator, president, screaming "Death Jazz," and then it just busts right into the song. And when I say bust, it like explodes onto it with all the brass, the piano climbing. I think there's a little. It almost sounds like guitar, or maybe some sort of electric type guitar coming in. These kind of unintelligible vocals underneath. It's extremely energetic.
I think it's Japanese. That's why it's hard to understand.
Unintelligible to me.
But yeah, and I especially like that it overlaps. The songs flow into one another. The intro is part of Hollow, which I miss so much. No one ever does that, and it's very, very pleasant. And then yeah, I know with the guitar, I refer to it as a nasally synth mixed with guitar for that instrument at about 45 seconds. And then there's that piano backing line that supports everything up. I will say, I love some good sax, but that initial kind of blasting from the saxophone isn't really my cup of tea.
Yeah, this the saxophone. There's some great examples. Each one of the instruments that's featured on this album has its like time to shine. This one, the sax kind of comes out. It's almost like the like the sax version of doing screamo.
Yeah,
it's kind of squelching. It's like squeeching all over the place. It
sounds like the reed's about to break.
I think Matt, my friend Matt, described it as sounds like a goose.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Like someone stepping on it. So it's got a very cacophonous quality to it. But it's kind of like, I guess, leaning into that death jazz sound that they are saying that they're going for.
Mm-hmm. But they don't lean into it too heavily. They kind of let it back off and other stuff step in.
Yeah, it's kind of there for like the first couple minutes of the song. But once you hit about the 2-minute mark, it kind of breaks open to this more melodic section where like the brass starts to like work together and they all make this interesting hook. So it kind of like all conglomerates into like a song from the noises.
Yeah. And I especially love the drums in this. Like, holy crap, that drummer is fantastic.
Yeah. Madoran is honestly, each one of these people are very good at the instrument they play. But yeah, this guy's a great jazz drummist.
Yeah, I mean, he does so much legwork in this song, and he isn't the main focus, but it is fantastic. Constantly changing up and providing some emphasis for the big moments, especially like the main trumpet line, which amazing throughout the whole part of this song as well. I can't figure out when they're trying to take a breath.
Oh yeah, and it's also supported by this kind of underlying synth, which a little bit like obviously synth isn't heavily utilized in jazz, or at least I guess traditional American jazz. So this kind of like a little flair on it as well.
Yeah, and who doesn't love some good synth?
Yeah, a little electric elements in our jazz.
Mm-hmm. But we can jump to track number 3 if you're ready.
Yes, track number 3, Storm.
Storm, in all caps.
Storm.
Now this one was kind of out of left field for me. Like I had already listened to Fantastic Planet coming into this album. And I was like, in the past when I found something on
Discover Weekly,
usually not really a fan of the rest of the album. A good example of that is Tally Hall, which is the band that Musical Melody. What was that his name? Crap. What was his name?
Miracle Musical?
Miracle Musical, thank you.
Yeah.
That was the band he was in. And one of their songs, Taken for a Ride, fantastic. I love it. But the rest of the album, it wasn't very good. And I was a little bit worried obviously we've listened to this album a couple times now, so obviously it's not true, but I was worried the first time going through this album that it would be, Fantastic Planet would stick out. Like it would be amazing, the best song on the album, nothing else would compare.
But it hit a bit of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, exactly. But then Storm comes on, and straight into it with the trumpet, and it's super technical, like just jumping all over the place. And the piano line follows the melodic line underneath, kind of mimicking it up until the breakdown. This one is a real good song.
Man, it feels like a storm of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sax goes off in the middle where it has its solo, and then the trumpet, like it's just wild and like off in this corner, like this guy's having conniptions.
Mm-hmm.
It's these guys really go off on the instruments. And I also want to give a shout on this song. This is when I was first noticing it, and it's throughout the album is that the double bassist, the standing bass,
upright bass,
Goldman he has some killer bass lines on this album. Like they just pop off, and a lot of them obviously it's bass, so it's the backbone of the song,
mm-hmm.
and they're doing some pretty interesting melodic things. It's not just the dun 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 keeping the rhythm. These are some intricate bass lines.
It's jazz bass is what it is.
It's jazz bass,
and I wrote this later, but I'll have to say it now since we're talking about it. I am extremely upset that he did not get a solo throughout this whole album.
That's true. There's never a time where it's just the bass, but there are times when it comes a little more forward.
There is, but often, like the only time he's doing that he has a solo piece is like the classical boom 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 leading into something,
right? Not like just by himself.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing backing through this song and all the rest, but I just wish it could have given him a solo, because you could argue like, bass isn't loud enough to do a solo, but there are a lot of examples later on where they just edit the mixing to bring out the instrument that is doing the solo, so it ends up being able to come over the top of everything else that's going on in the background, which is often pretty chaotic.
Yes,
but yeah, the upright bass, fantastic. And I in this one I really like around 2:30 when they're doing those beats to get back into the chorus. It sounds like trying to start up a stalled car to get back on the road.
I was like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, and then it launches back into it. And then right after that happens, a choir comes in.
Is there a choir in Storm?
I think so. Am I thinking of the wrong song?
I think you might be thinking of Fantastic Planet.
I am thinking of Fantastic Planet,
which does have a good choir, but
I jumped ahead on my notes. I apologize.
Now, vocals are featured a little bit on this album.
The last section of chorus, though,
Ooh,
it gets a tad repetitive, just a little bit.
I don't think it super overstates welcome. I mean, this song's only 3.5 minutes long, which is a little bit shorter on this album.
Yeah, I do like how they, like I was saying with the mixing, they bring the piano forward to have that solo over the top when, the trumpets are still doing the chorus in the background.
Oh yeah, there's a pretty the piano riff on this song is pretty magical.
Mm-hmm. The pianist is fantastic throughout the whole thing.
Oh yes, this is some impressive jazz pianing.
I don't think that's a word.
I think I'm just using words. Yeah, Josie is obviously a man of his craft, and I think it shows up even better on the next song, track number 4, "Fantastic Planet." Which I'm pretty sure I read was the lead single on this album. It is called Planet Pimp, after all. And this is your like jazz moment right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is as far as I can tell, this is like one of their most popular songs
for good reason.
And for good reason. This is an excellent jazz song.
And this is the one I've been listening to a lot, which made me want to listen to the whole album. And right at the start of this, that upright bass is grooving, and it gets a nice little chance to shine right at the beginning.
So the 2 seconds it gets to have a solo.
The 2 seconds it gets to. I wanted it to have a solo so bad. I got to 14, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen. But he is. I mean, without the upright, and there's a song later on I'll talk about where the upright bass comes in later, and without the upright bass, there is so little depth. It's lacking a lot of shine and polish without it, and it's so good. You got to really listen for it to pick up on it, but when it's absent, you absolutely notice it.
Oh yeah, it's a richness to all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
No, on this one, I think, like I was saying, I think the piano really shines, especially on the chorus.
Oh yeah.
Obviously the trumpets and the sax are kind of carrying the main melodic line, but the piano's just going off on the chorus, bringing all the energy up to the top. And almost has the song has almost like a slight Spanish influence, I want to say.
Yeah, got a bit.
Slightly salsa-ish.
I got that too, the kind of salsa piano feel right in the main melody at the beginning, kind of with the light drums as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely picked up on that.
And it really leaves just this really just fun feeling. Mm-hmm. Like it just makes you want to move. And it even has a little mellow breakdown with just the piano at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah. Yeah, it really gives the pianist a chance to show some more of that skill that we've been talking about before it launches back into kind of the chaos that is the rest of the song. Just straight
back into the chorus.
Yeah. And the melodic line on this one is just super catchy as well. And it jumps around from trumpets to piano to sax, and then it jumps to a choir, allowing the trumpets to drop out and a sax solo to come in, and it's just kind of all over the place, and it's the best of freeform jazz.
Oh yeah, those vocals coming in, where I'm pretty sure it's probably just the band members, because it just sounds like a lot of male vocals, like kind of going da 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 da.
Yeah.
As they're doing that, they just kind of bubble the top and just found. It's just like this is it's all like kind of peaking, right? It's like the perfect growth of the song.
Yeah, it's a great, fantastic way to end the song.
Oh.
So it's very high quality, and there's a reason that this is their most popular song.
Yes, it's muy good.
Jump into track number 5, then, if you're ready.
Yes, let's go.
Go next.
Go next, track number 5, exclamation point.
In all caps.
All caps with exclamation point. Yeah, this one starts with a very, I guess it's an electric guitar?
No, it's a really funky filter on sax and trumpet. Next time you listen to it, get in your mind that the first part of the line is sax and the second part of the line is trumpet, and then you'll instantly hear it. They've got some really weird filter over the top.
It's a very plucky, like electric sounding filter, which adds to a pretty interesting effect. As it's like kind of playing with this really pounding percussion.
Yeah.
It's just that and the percussion at the very beginning.
Yeah, and it sounds really good. Like you kind of have to get used to it, but the sound is really nice, especially once it breaks into the main melodic line, and then the upright bass starts playing the melodic line along with them, and it's
The
featured
synth kind of joins
heavily,
in.
and yeah, it's the upright bass just makes me happy.
He really does go off on this album.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's plucking away.
And I especially. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just gonna say that I guess this whatever filter they're putting over the brass instruments that makes it almost sound like a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a little grating on this song. Yeah. At least from me, like this is like a 5-minute song. It's throughout the entire thing. I think it gets to a point that's a bit much. Maybe it could have been used a little more sparingly on this song.
I never got sick of it, but to each their own.
Yeah, man, it's still a fun idea. It just features so prominently that it kind of loses its charm by the end of the song, I feel.
I think you might appreciate it more if you listen to it again and try and listen for that sax and trumpet.
I guess so.
If it's just, I can understand if you're coming at it thinking it's just a guitar line. It kind of gets a little bit old. But if you try and pick out you can hear the sax kind of squeak a couple of times in the first line, because there's like the first bar, the da 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 da, and that switches over to trumpet. And you can kind of hear the individual characteristics of the instrument come through. It's fun to just try and listen past the filter, but that might be a bit of the concert band in me coming out.
What did the concert band did you think about the 2-minute electric organ solo?
I loved it because I love organ. Remember,
you do like organ,
and it's got a rock. It's a rock organ.
Definitely a rock organ.
I mean, I'm a bigger fan of the traditional organ, I will say, but I love a good filter every once in a while. But there's a point where, because there's the different styles of organ, right? There's classical and then there's rock. And then there's a couple of others even. But then you go even further and you're just getting into kind of synth. So
yeah, this is definitely the rock organ variety.
Yeah.
I do think the organ solo goes on a bit longer than I thought it would. Like this sucker just keeps going.
More organ. Never enough.
You definitely got your fill on this song.
Yeah. Jump to track number 6 then.
Dark Side. This is the first probably mellow song on the album.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got a very nice change of pace. It's like a sitting in like a smoky lounge, or it's just very especially compared to the last several songs, a lot more low key, a little more subtle. So it's nice that they're showing off that they're not just loud jazz players. They can play a little more of the club setting or the lounge setting.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was getting a bit fatigued with the loud style until this song came on. And it's nice that it shows that they have the skills, These are extremely skilled jazz players. Because up to this point, it's like, yeah, you can do the one style, but the fact that they can do traditional jazz as well is super impressive. And I would
say...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I would say the song, like you said, just coming just the right amount at just the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're 5 songs in, you're like, okay, this is a lot going on. This comes in just at the right moment to kind of cool you off.
Mm-hmm.
Midway through the album.
With the nice soft piano and a toned down melodic line.
Ooh, that piano at the 2:45 point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a piano solo coming in.
Yeah, it's my favorite part of the song.
It's so tasty.
So peaceful.
So peaceful, but also very technically impressive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this entire song is still super technically impressive.
I know you appreciate band elements a bit more since you had so much experience in marching band.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always mainly a piano player back in my youth. So whenever I get to a piano solo like this, where it's you can tell this guy really knows his stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah, and the piano technical aspect is great, but I also really enjoyed the sax solo that comes before that.
Yes.
Because up to this point, it's just kind of been screaming, reed breaking, almost goose honking sound. And this one's a lot more toned down while still being extremely technical.
Yes, and very smoother.
Yeah, and there's one later that I like just a bit more, but this is probably my second favorite sax solo on the album.
Yeah, bring down the energy on the song really helped to let the instruments shine a little bit more in their natural element.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the upright bass is back in the whole thing and sounding
of course
amazing throughout.
Like I said, it's the backbone of this album. And they even end the song on a little bit of that little spice at the end of the song where they pick up the energy right before the end.
And not too much, though. Just a little
Not
bit.
too much, just enough to...
And it's not even more than they had before, because I don't know if you noticed, after the piano solo, it really brings it down and slows it down. It gets quieter and calm. And so they can come back up to where they were in the middle for a big hit in quotations, where it's really just bringing the energy level back up to match what they started. And that gives them, the room to grow from the low point without getting too crazy as they launch into another, kind of death jazz out there song.
Oh, yeah. But it's just, no, I completely agree. Just such a nice song.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just good stuff. You can focus on it and enjoy the technical aspects, or you can just like kind of be doing something else and just enjoy the smooth jazz. It works in both capacities.
I will say there are a few times where I just got lost, and then I was like, "Oh crap! I forgot to write this stuff down."
You've been pulled into the music.
Yeah, because when I'm listening to it while I'm in the car, quite a bit of it gets drowned out. Especially when you're driving on that freaking concrete as opposed to asphalt. So it's nice to, with your headphones, being able to pick up everything, a little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar.
That's it.
Jump into track number 7 then.
Track number 7.
Sea of
Tranquility. So, this one almost has it actually has a little bit of a bass solo at the beginning. Or it's just the bass, just dun 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 dun. I mean, it's like 7 seconds, but it's
I
something.
wouldn't call
late
that
into
a
the
solo.
song.
That's a lead-in bass line, but
I suppose it's more of a lead-in.
yeah. And
But
this one has even more of that Spanish-inspired piano that we were talking about earlier.
yes, this one's even more salsa-esque with the piano. Dun 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 going on in the background, and it kind of keeps a little bit of the lower energy from the first song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is my favorite sax solo, I will say. And
at like the 130 mark?
Yeah, it gets a little honky at points again, but it's technical, but he holds notes, which I feel has been lacking so far, especially from the sax. Because when it's all technique, sometimes you miss those long soaring notes over the top. And it kind of throws that in every once in a while, and it sounds really good. Because he can put vibrato on notes pretty damn well.
Oh yeah, and the solo leads gloriously into the back end of the chorus at 2, where the kind of brass stays there, but it helps to support the piano and the bass on the chorus.
And then another piano solo. Man, every song is just solo after solo after solo on this.
Just the guys high-fiving and trading off solos.
Yeah, this is the one that got me sucked in. Like I just got sucked into the piano solo. It's more technical and faster, and I just listened. I was like, I didn't write anything for like the last minute and a half of the song.
It's just so pleasant.
Yeah.
And like so technically impressive. It's such a delightful piano breakdown. And the fact that these solos all build and feel like they're working towards the same goal into the song. Mm-hmm. It really adds to the overall experience.
Yeah. It's I that was all I had written for this one, because this one sucked me in. I got a bit lost in the sauce there. On this one.
It's good sauce, though.
It is very good sauce. Jump into track number 8 if you're ready, Coop.
Yes.
World is Filled by... ... This one is this one's a bit different. That's for sure.
This one is different. It starts with this piano with this kind of like almost like a signals being sent out, like plingy electric something. I don't know, but I like it. It's just it gives almost like not like a space vibe, but slightly more futuristic.
I got kind of a 80s vibe from it, because it was kind of an older sci-fi noise.
And older sci-fi, older future.
Yeah,
it's like time.
Older futuristic.
Retro-futuristic, I think is the term.
Hey, you're not supposed to be the one bringing up ELO. That's supposed to be me.
Oh, no. I've been infected by the ELO bug. Good.
Do it.
Yeah, and this song is also the first one to really prominently feature vocals. They're more like talking than anything.
Yeah, and I will say it grew on me the more times I listened to it, but I'm still not the biggest fan of his singing. It's all right. It's kind of I don't know how to describe it.
It's a little distracting.
Yeah,
I'll give you that, but
it's good.
I think it adds a lot of character to the song.
It does add quite a bit of character
because he's saying it all in English, but he has a very thick Japanese accent, obviously.
Mm-hmm. But he's got a very good voice.
Yes, it's very theatric on the song, like he's talking to an audience. I can see this being done live, where he's just like pouring out to people in the audience. The world is filled by greed.
I will say, I think I just dislike when he's singing over the rest of the jazz. There's kind of those staccato bits where the big sung sections are. You know what I'm talking about? Like da 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 da, where he's singing over the top of it, and I actually really enjoy those moments. But when those freeform jazz moments come in, he's still making noises in the background, be it screaming or I don't. I feel like those could have been taken out, and it would have added to the song. But I will say, I think it's even now, even when I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, it's all right. But now I'm like, actually, I kind of want to go back and listen to the song now.
It's kind of infectious.
Yeah.
The more I've listened to it, the more I've liked it. I don't know. There's like a weird to this song where you can just tell they're having fun with it.
Yeah.
And of course, at 2:30, the piano and the standing bass kind of have like a duet solo where they're both just kind of going off by themselves. It's just very excellent.
Yeah, this song has a bunch of great technical work, but just that singing, there's the screaming or singing when it's going on kind of detracts from it for me.
Yeah, for me, it's far enough back in the mix that it's like I don't think it covers up the instruments. I think it just adds to it a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't, but I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea.
Oh no, I can completely see why it wouldn't be, but it's divisive, as they say.
Jump into track number 9.
Kamasin.
I'm glad you said it because I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, I looked it up. I think it's apparently like an African desert wind in Egypt.
Okay. Wait.
Kind of like Santana or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's a Spanish wind, but this is like an Egyptian wind.
Okay. And this is the one I was talking about earlier with the stripped back sound because it starts with just the trumpet, sax, and piano.
Yes.
So that's, that's 3 of the 6 guys, right?
Right.
Or 3 of the 6 instruments, rather, counting vocalist as an instrument. And it sounds super hollow, It sounds like there's not much there. And then at 1:40, the drums come in, and you realize how much depth the drums actually give to the song. Because he's going all over the place all the time. And you just kind of, after a while, you don't pick up on it as much just because, they want you to listen to the sax, trumpet, piano. But without the drums, none of it would work. And then the upright bass comes in a couple of bars later and really fills out the music. But it was really interesting to me to see, just taking away 2 of the instruments, how little there is actually going on.
Yeah, it really does show how codependent all the instruments are on each other. Obviously, they each get time to shine, but like, you even take back like the ones that you don't notice as much, like the drums or the bass. Like it just doesn't feel as good.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when they do come in, ooh,
yeah,
it really all just syncs up nice.
I will say this one again had the kind of random screaming in the background.
Did it?
It was either that or somebody was yelling outside my apartment. I did have my windows open, but I'm downstairs, so I wouldn't hear that easily.
I don't remember any random screaming in this one.
It was really quiet, so it is quite possible that it was somebody outside.
I mean, I believe it existing in this song,
but it sounded the same each time, and I think it was again in a later song, so it definitely sounded sampled. But it was just loud enough to be distracting. Because it didn't really add anything. It was just kind of there.
Well, this is death jazz, Sam.
Yeah,
it needs a little bit of screaming. You can have a little screaming.
Death Jazz can have a little screaming. I will say that that there's that good. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
I was going to say, will you say?
It just jumped the tracks and a new one had to be called up. There was that really strong trumpet solo.
Oh yeah, like the 3:15 mark.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit more toned down though. Still quite fast, but not as out there. You know, it kind of sticks to an envelope.
It added a little bit of a laid back energy. This song's obviously a lot less blasty than the earlier ones were, but I kind of like that it keeps it a little more low key. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the sax was kind of popping off at the beginning there over the piano. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like the trumpet took a little more of a mellow approach. Now, a little diversity to the song.
Yeah.
And it is quite a song. It's 6.5 minutes long.
Yeah. So. I kind of got sucked into this one as well.
So it gives itself time to breathe.
Yeah. I looked up at the end of it. I was like, oh, I only wrote 3 things down. I was a bit too caught up in just listening.
Yeah, it's not even the longest song on the album, though.
Yeah, that's that is track number 10. Struggle.
Yeah, this one is almost 9 minutes long.
This is a long song.
I mean, in classic jazz fashion. It starts with this like a very like just this bass line and these like kind of disparate elements. Mm-hmm. Instruments kind of jumping in and out, a little bit piano, a little bit of sax before
starts
they
really low key.
Proceed. Very low key.
But then the solo comes in, and that kind of takes it out of it for me. Like it's a fine solo, but it feels just a bit too wild for. It starts a bit too wild for the calm feel that the song has started with, you know. Yeah,
where it's a little bit of grating.
Yeah, and the solo does calm down as time goes on, but just the start of it kind of was a bit jarring with how low key the intro was, and then the solo just kind of barrels in.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that the first half of the song isn't my favorite, just because obviously the sax is kind of going all over the place. Mm-hmm. And there's a nice little piano solo there that's pretty neat. But the brass is just kind of going up and down and up and down, and it's kind of jumping all over. I will say at about the four, it all goes away. It becomes very mellow, and just a little bit of piano playing. Mm-hmm. It's like extremely relaxing. And then the sax slowly comes in, and then the trumpet slowly comes in. It's like a completely different song.
Yeah, it feels like almost they should have split it up, because right at, like you were saying, at 3 minutes, the piano solo is in there. And then there's those weird climbing chords going into 4 minutes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then, everything drops out, and it's just the piano. And then a whole new song kind of starts. And it's kind of got like a haunting vibe.
Yes.
But I don't know. I didn't really like this section of it. It feels like it tries to have its fast and its slow moments without transitioning between them.
I kind of like that it does that, not gonna lie. Where it starts with this kind of random energy jumping all over the place. And then when it all falls out, the second half, it like all builds back together. Honestly, I really like the way the second half of the song builds up, because it's almost like as the 2 brass instruments, or as the sax and the trumpet come together, they kind of have a more like a triumphant feel to them, like they're like cresting the top of a hill. After that kind of more melancholic piano bit, and it kind of shifts emotions throughout the song, which I like.
I kind of get where you're coming from. I wasn't a big fan of this one. Was a bit too jumpy for me. Oh Jesus! Making hand motions and smacking my microphone.
Speaking of jumping,
yeah, just a bit too struggly for my taste.
Yeah, this one definitely gets a little over the place, but I think for me at least, I get the effect it was going for, and I think it worked for me a little bit more than perhaps it does for some people. I think it could have been executed better, but I still appreciate that they attempted to execute it.
Jumping to track number 11 then.
Track number 11.
Mingus
Mingus Fan Club. I guess it's a ode to Charles Mingus, but it definitely doesn't sound like anything Charles Mingus played.
No, it does not. It's back to the death jazz for sure. I'm a big fan of whatever that electric instrument is running underneath everything. But
yeah, there's like a synthy type instrument going on.
This is very out of place from the previous song.
This one's extremely high energy.
Yeah,
like a lord. I think it's trying to build
screaming.
up. I think it's trying to build up a bit of the energy from Struggle, which ended on a very low key note, to Mars, which is a little more energetic. But I mean, it's only a minute long, so it's more like a little tease than anything else.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine. It's just a little like explosive palate cleanser.
It's interesting for sure. Oh, sorry. What are you yawning? Jumping to track number 12 then.
Oh yeah, there's
Mars.
It just goes straight into Mars. I thought we already reviewed this song, Sam. Who stops the planets, huh?
Classical. What is it? Everybody has one, but what does it do?
What does it do? There should be screaming in classical music.
Oh,
that's what it's missing.
That's called
Death
opera.
classical.
Yeah, this one is a better example of the fast and the slow, I think. The transitions are a lot more well done, and it doesn't really drag like Struggle did. And there's, jumping way further into the song, about the 410 mark, that piano solo.
Ooh, yes.
That comes out just a little too much. They mixed it a little too far in the side of the piano.
I mean, I did notice they definitely brought it to the forefront, where the brass was actually in the background for once with the piano up front. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like that, because usually the piano is at least kind of buried beneath the brass.
I agree, but I think they need to just turn it down a little bit. They mixed it a bit too heavy on the piano side. The solo is really good, but there are points where it feels like it's peaking with the key hits. So it just needs
maybe
to
a little
turn
bit
down just a little tiny. It wasn't much. It just needs a little bit.
The overall, I do really like the interplay between the trumpet, the sax, and the piano on this song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it maintains a little bit of that chaotic energy, but it's obviously very planned out. Where they're giving each other space to breathe, to have their solos as well.
Yeah. And this is the other song that had some random screaming in the background. I don't know.
I didn't really notice that, but I'm sure it was there just underneath.
I mean, it sounded the same every time, so I highly doubt it was somebody outside my apartment yelling super far away. So,
please call the police! I can see you.
No, it was the same volume every time, and it's the exact same sound. So I think it was
must
just
have been a bit like a sample.
Yeah. But I could have done without that, but they have to put the death jazz, I suppose. And this was the song I was really looking for, the upright bass solo, where I was hoping it. I got here and I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Honestly, it wouldn't have looked too out of place on this one.
Yeah.
I just think all the instruments are playing at some pretty good condition on this song.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very solid track all around.
Jump into track number 13 then.
Track number 13, Sadazurku Rejects. Which, this is the one where I think, out of all of them, the drum line, really pops off.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the most at the forefront.
Well, it really sticks out because it's the quick drums with the slow piano. And then occasionally the sax and the trumpets come in real fast. I really love the start of this song.
It's super jazzy.
And then
as you would expect.
I'm a bit bigger fan of this singer. It sounds like a woman singing. I can't tell. And then when they hold a note, it sounds like it's sampled. So it's the exact same pitch and volume for like a couple of seconds when they reach the climax of the note. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it almost sounds like a Vocaloid type thing going on.
There's nothing of that in the first couple of notes, so I think it's only on that last note.
Yeah,
and then
that's a nice bit of character on it, though.
Yeah. And then we hit the breakdown at 120, which is not very good. It sounds really odd for the song and kind of steals away from the momentum from the song, which really didn't have that much to begin with. And then it tries to come back, but it's just repeating the same section over and over again. Like there's nothing changing at all, and it's a 3-minute song. Like sure, there's the build up at the beginning, and then the singing comes in, but after the breakdown at 120, which only lasts about 15 seconds, it's the same until the end at like 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, this song doesn't develop nearly as nicely as a lot of them. But it's still a shorter song at 3 minutes.
I'd argue it doesn't develop at all. I think you cut it off at about 150. There's an extra minute or so of music there that doesn't really. It just sits there. It's no development, just repeating the same thing over and over again. And it really. I was a big fan of the beginning of the song and breakdown, not so much so, but that extra just kind of chaff at the end really ruined it for me.
I would say it ruined it, but it's definitely a little more of a middling song on the album.
Yeah. Jump into the final track then.
Final track.
Track
Sorrow.
14. Sorrow.
Which is the sad song on the album. Gonna have a little bit of a sad jazz song. And this is probably where the sax and trumpet are at their smoothest.
Oh, yeah. At the start of this song, they bring in the muted trumpet, which is super late, because usually that's used all the time in jazz, but it's a super welcome surprise. It really helps this slow piece, stick out from the other slow pieces that they've done so far.
Oh, yeah. This adds like a real smoky closing time like music to it. Very low key, which I appreciate. They could have... I think they've obviously really covered their bases on the energetic side of this album. So kind of having one that's a little differentiates, that kind of plays the album out, is extremely pleasant on the ears, I think was a good move to make for the closing number.
Yeah, and it's got, great slow piano again, which has been amazing this entire album. And I think, personally, this is probably the best song they could have picked to finish the album on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to end on too high of an energy, and with the amount of high energy that's happened so far, and the quality of the other slow songs, I definitely think this is probably the highest quality slow song that they've made.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't want them to end on Mingus Fan Club?
No. Just scream to cut off and I guess the album's over.
I guess the album's over. Plus, there's a real nice sax and trumpet duet around the 3-minute mark, where they just kind of a little more energy's added, but they still keep their mellow ways about them.
Yeah, nice and mellow and relaxed, and just kind of let you melt away to the end of the album, and it doesn't leave your heart racing, and then suddenly there's just a cutoff,
Yeah, really lets you ride the album out.
Yeah,
on a good note, I would say.
Yeah. And that is the end of Planet Pimp.
Planet Pimp by Soil and Pimp Sessions.
Yes.
Quite the experience.
Quite the experience indeed. So Cooper, what would you say your favorite and least favorite songs are on this album?
For my favorite, I'd probably have to go. I think the obvious choice would be Fantastic Planet. Obviously, that's the first one I listened to off the album because that's what you recommended to me before we listened to the whole thing. But it's still just such a solid jazz song. It's got interesting elements. All the instruments work together beautifully. It's got that almost salsa-like vibe to it. And the male vocals at the very end just cap this song off perfectly. And then also, The World Is Filled By is a great song as well I want to give a shout out to. It's just got these interesting elements. I like the male vocals that keeps getting better each time I listen to it. I just really dig that song overall. In terms of least favorite, I'd probably say probably Go Next. I don't think it has as many interesting elements as some of the other songs. The organ breakdown is interesting, but it goes on way too long.
It goes on way too short, is what you mean.
And I think the plucky guitar, or the plucky kind of, I guess, brass filter they have, I think it's a little grating by the end of the song. It kind of wears its welcome. But it's still a decent song, just not not the strongest on the album, I think. What about you, Sam?
I am gonna have to say I'm I'm struggling to pick my favorite between Fantastic Planet, of course, and Storm. Storm I really enjoyed that one. And it has a bit of too much repetition at the end of it, but that piano solo really saves it. I don't know. That one just really sticks with me. As for least favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Satsuriku Rejects. It started really strong for about a minute and then just kind of killed itself for me. That slow breakdown, or the weird instrument breakdown that was kind of electric-y, trying to play the backing, didn't sound very good. And then it just repeated itself until the end for about another minute and a half. So it was just a bit too poor in my opinion.
Not enough going on.
Yeah, they've been amazing at building every other song. If the song doesn't build, it's only like a minute long, like Mingus Fan Club. But this one just felt kind of uninspired. Every line or every instrument and vocal line stayed the same throughout after the breakdown, and it just kind of sat there. So
I'd say it was completely valid. It was definitely one of the more middling songs of the album.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's what we're reviewing of the album. Now we finally get to the our final verdict.
And I will go over the rating system real quick, since you did it last time, Coop, since I had
please,
to type a bunch of things for Carmen. And I actually just checked. I actually forgot to upload that episode, so I got to do that tonight. Oh. So here at Audio Shop, we have the traditional 1 through 5 rating, where 5 out of 5, cream of the crop, is showroom. As they say, the cream rises to the top. And this is the best of the best. This is our cream. Exactly.
Mm.
And then 1 out of 5 is scrapyard, bottom of the barrel.
Ooh, get that away from me.
Exactly.
I don't want it.
You don't want it. It's terrible. It's the little bit of peanut butter at the bottom that all the oil seeped out of it, so it's kind of like a cracker paste kind of consistency, or like there's a little bit. You just let the milk sit in the fridge just a bit too long, and it's kind of slimy on the bottom. It's that stuff.
I don't like that.
Yeah. So and then of course everything is just how we're feeling that day, and we'll say high something or low something to kind of give us a bit more wiggle room. But yeah, Cooper, what do you think? What would you rate this album?
Well, Sam, I would say this album was a delight. I'm not one who listens to jazz very often. I appreciate the genre, but it's I don't actively seek it out. But this whole album was just such a enjoyable experience. It really had a great modern jazz sound. All 6 instruments worked in tandem on pretty much all the songs to create just like interesting, technically difficult, and fun musical experiences. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this album was a showroom for me. I just found it completely enjoyable from front to back.
Wow, high praise.
And I feel like it's a damn shame that the Pimp Soil and Pimp sessions aren't more well known here in the States.
And I agree. This is an extremely fun album. I listen to quite a bit of jazz, so I'd say I'm probably a bit more of a purist. I enjoy the death jazz. This has got a lot of fun elements, but they haven't toppled my favorite jazz artist. So maybe we'll get to
Selena Gomez.
Yes, no, Larry Carlton.
Oh yeah.
But really fun album, and I think if I was listening to it maybe at another time, maybe I'm being a bit harsh right now, but I'm gonna rate it I was on the fence between a very high like new and a very low showroom, and I think I'm gonna go very high like new. I think, you catch me at a different time of day. You asked me earlier in the day after I had just finished listening to the album, maybe I would have said showroom, but I'm going to say high like new right now, just because very proficient, but the early sax honking and the lows of the Setsuriku rejects kind of took that last little bit away. I still think you should definitely listen to this album. This is a fantastic album.
You're just grouchy that you lost an hour's sleep today from daylight savings time.
That might be it too. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit tired and I'm a bit grouchy. I don't know, but it's very strong. I think, we sit here and argue about it for a minute. You probably convinced me to change my answer to Showroom. But just going with my gut this second, I'm going to say like new. A very high like new.
I think we can both agree. It's definitely an album that's worth checking out.
For sure.
Even if you're not one who's into jazz, it's worth giving a listen.
And maybe it'll get you into jazz. I don't know. It's certainly not like any jazz I'd listened to before, but I still appreciated it.
The new wave, Japanese new wave coming on.
Not quite, but sure.
I just like giving things titles.
Yeah. Because that new wave usually refers to pop. So that you'd have to say new wave jazz.
Yeah, new wave death jazz.
I don't know if there's anybody else classified as death jazz. But
they're their own genre, even better.
Yeah. That is our review of Planet Pimp by Soil and Pimp Sessions. And you want to move on to the spare tire, Coop?
I would. Not gonna lie, mostly I've just been listening to Soil and Pimp Sessions this this week, like going through their discography. If you like this album, you want to listen to some of their good stuff as well. I also find their album Pimp Master to be excellent and well worth a listen.
How does it compare to this one? Is it better or worse, would you say?
I think it's a little less death, a little more jazz.
That sounds like
I think I might like it slightly more, or at least the same. They're probably pretty equal in terms of the pleasure I've gotten from them. So
that's
definitely
pretty high though. That albums are. I mean, you rated it Showroom, so another Showroom in the discography is pretty dang good. Yeah, no, I mean they maintained a high quality and put out some great tracks, like Waltz for a Goddess is amazing. Avalanche is a great song as well. Yeah, it's worth looking into. How about you, Sam? I have been getting a bit too more into ELO this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went back. I was listening to Discovery quite a bit during my drives into work and singing along, enjoying that. And actually, I listened to Daft Punk quite a bit as well. Getting into that electronica a little bit, because I have my spurts where I really am into electronica.
What, your entire life?
No, more so than usual. But like I was listening to like Around the World and Harder, Better, Faster, and De-Resed from the Utron Legacy soundtrack.
That is a good soundtrack.
Pretty dang good song. I think that's all I've been listening. Let me double check my Spotify real quick. Listening to a little bit of Pink Floyd as well. The Wall I listened to a couple of times, and Wish You Were Here. Kind of getting into that. But yeah, jumping back into some of my more obscure Spotify artists that release one kind of electronic song and then back off from it.
You're like, no, go deeper.
Yeah. Like Snail House, who we've talked about before.
Oh, yeah.
Computer Blues by Mega Neko is pretty dang good. I've listened to that quite a few times this week. But that's, again, getting a bit more into that electronic kind of pop. I don't know how to describe it. New wave, post-funk, I don't know.
Avant-garde.
But just kind of electronica, jumping in that a little bit. It's hard to listen to anything else other than ELO on my drives into work, just because I want some. If I can't sing along with it, I'm gonna fall asleep. Music calms me down too much, so I need something I know the lyrics to so I can sing.
See, I like going into new songs because it keeps me active. It's like my brain's analyzing it.
No, I can't. Well, I'm driving on a concrete highway, so the tires are way too loud to be analyzing anything. So it's got to be something I already know, so I can understand what's happening, even if I can't fully hear it.
Isn't it like a 45-minute drive one way?
Yeah.
So you're just listening to an hour and a half of ELO every day?
I listen to quite a bit of Miracle Musical as well.
That's an album.
Yeah, so has part 2 in the name.
That's true. Part 2 of 1.
I've been listening to, like I said, electronica and listened to some Gorillaz as well.
Ooh,
like
their new songs are pretty neat.
I wasn't a fan of their first one. The second one's a lot better, though, I will say.
Desolate.
Desolate is really good. The first one I wasn't particularly a fan of. With what's his name? Slave? Is that?
Yeah, Slaves. Yeah. He was the rapper. It was Slaves and another guy. I forget his name of.
That one was all right. Not the biggest fan.
I thought it was chill. Momentary Bliss. Yeah, that's Slow Tie.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to.
Well, neat. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode.
Yeah.
And will join us again next time.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. And if you're just now tuning in on Twitch and you say, hey, I want to hear the rest of this review. I missed it. Well, then you can head on over to the YouTube, which is linked in the little section below Twitch. You just click Jeff Lynn's face and it'll take you there. And if you're listening on YouTube and you said, you know what? These guys are pretty all right. And you want to watch us, or I guess listen to us live. You can head on over to our Twitch, which is linked in the description down below. And we are live every 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. And we also tweet out what we're listening to, so you can listen beforehand and say, these guys don't know what they're talking about. What's our Twitter, Cooper?
Our Twitter would be @AudioShop14. We'll let you know what we're listening to and when we're going to review it.
Also, if you don't hear from us, either Cooper forgot to tweet or we just have waited that long to pick an album.
I have not forgotten to tweet in like 10 months. I've been pretty consistent.
Don't believe you on that one. I think you've missed once in 10 months, but you've been pretty damn consistent.
I'm a consistent man. I can't let down my death jazz boys.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you everybody for. You tweeted it yesterday, Cooper. We decided on Thursday.
Well, we decided late, so I tweeted late. That seems fair.
Yeah, but we decided on Thursday.
Well, you forgot about daylight savings time.
That was an hour. That wasn't multiple days. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will catch you again next week.
Yes, come see us again.
See ya, shoppies. All right. See ya.